Hi, I'm Virginia from Write Clinic, and here with me today is Nicole, who's my co-editor for Medical Writer magazine. So she's going to ask me some questions today.
Hey, Virginia. Thanks for having me on again. And thanks for inviting me to be the co-editor of Medical Writer magazine. Obviously, you need no introduction. But yeah, let me just start by thanking you for, inviting me to be a part of the creation of this magazine. It's a completely brand new experience for me, and it's been really wonderful so far. And then secondly, of course, thank you for all the brilliant work that you're doing within the medical writing community, through Write Clinic, through your YouTube channel, and through the group that you host on LinkedIn. But yeah, I bet by now everybody is dying to know what inspired you to start this magazine.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure to, I feel like I couldn't have picked a better person. You've just been so easy to work with and just so understanding of the whole experience that this is something new. And we were talking earlier and I was saying how I like to take risks, but I would say maybe a calculated risks, but also I love to learn as well. I think that's what drives me to do things. And I love to do community projects. So anything that's gonna, bring the community joy or bring the community together and get education, then that's really important for me. So thank you for going through this journey with me. And I hope we have more issues after the first one. So
I'm sure.
um, yeah. Okay, I'm ready to be grilled about everything.
Right. So let's start by how you think that this magazine stands out from, because there are a few other magazines that focus on medical writing, and that's aimed at the medical writing community. So how do you feel like this one stands out from all of those other publications that are available to medical writers?
I think this one is going to be something different. So I really want it to be sharing the voices of people from their own experience rather than trying to be really hardcore reference and citations everywhere. I want people to really connect with the author as a person and feel appreciative of the journey that they've been through to get the knowledge that they have, but then also appreciate on top of that they've taken the time to write it in a way that is friendly and empathetic and empowering and educational so that you get a piece of their experience and that adds to your experience as a medical writer. Because I think there's a lot of information out there. There's AI generated information now as well. And there are not a lot of people who are able to kind of shout loud enough about their experiences. And I really think that learning from each other is a way to learn faster. And also, I think that people need to be championed for things that they've created as well. So in other magazines, they might not be given the opportunity to talk about maybe their ebook that they wrote or the course that they created or the people that they've mentored or how fantastic their clients think they are. And I think it's, you don't get the opportunity to sing your own praises sometimes. And I wanted to provide a space for that so that people can not only share their knowledge, but also share their achievements, because there's not enough of that in the community. And I want to encourage that. And I think putting that in a magazine just means that it's more accessible to people. It's not just another blog that you're going to, promise to read in a few days and then forget about. And you can actually bookmark pages in the magazine. So whenever you revisit it, you can go and have a look at, what you read a moment ago. And it's an experience. And I want it to be fun. I want it to be, a space for people to connect with other people. And that's really important.
I mean, yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. I can totally echo also that I feel like this magazine is all about community and about uplifting people, championing people, and representing the individual, authentic voice. So, congratulations on that.
Thank
What,
you.
what, who can contribute to this magazine? Like, I think we have a good idea now of the type of content that people can expect, and it's by medical writers for medical writers. So is it only medical writers that can contribute, or can we expect to hear from other people in this magazine?
Yeah, so definitely, I think the health information space is full of all kinds of wonderful people who approach health information from different angles. And I think that's the other thing that's going to be probably unique to this magazine, because I don't claim to have read every other medical writing magazine or publication out there, but from, what I feel needs to be in this magazine for the community to really feel that like a community is that in the same way that pharmacists, doctors and nurses and physiotherapists all work together to provide healthcare to a patient, then all of these different people with different skills in the health communication space work together to produce amazing work. So there will be people like content designers, and I wasn't familiar with content design for a long time because I had no idea what it was. I just thought that it just kind of sounds like medical writing, but there is an art to how you put things on a page even before you consider the words. And there are people who are health communications kind of coaches and consultants, and they've been doing it for years, and they know how to really identify, the needs of the audience. And there are user research people, and those people are so important because you can go on Google, you can read what everyone else has written, and you can try to make it better. But unless you talk to actual real people and realize how they use information, then you're not going to be able to connect with the audience and have that impact on the patient, for example. And I think it's so important that we learn from the different kind of departments of health communication, because ultimately, if you're going to work with a team of people, you're going to work with someone like an SEO expert, which is search engine optimization. You might work with a designer, or you might work with a content designer. So, two different things. And you'll learn different things from all of those people. And in the same way, I want the magazine to be, written by medical writers, but also other people who are in the space of health information.
Great. And what has this process been like for you to create this magazine? And can you name at least one challenge and one or thing that you enjoyed the most or found the most rewarding?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I would say that the process has been interesting because I was thinking about the magazine earlier this year, like way back in March, and I just put it out to the community. I was like, if we had Medical Writing Magazine, would you be interested in reading it? And like, I think 200 people said yes, or was it 300? I can't remember. There was a lot of people. I was like, okay, but the space between people saying yes and me figuring out how to do it ended up being like 6 months because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've got 100 things going on. And I'm just like, I didn't expect that response to be so strong. So I was like, okay, let's go through like all of the people who wanted to contribute, and then let's also cherry pick some people that I would like to contribute to see if they're up for it as well. And so that was difficult because I think the expense of doing it was the main thing. I was like, okay, I don't want this to cost like thousands of pounds per year, especially if it's going to be something that I'm going to try and see if it works, and then if it doesn't work, it's going to be like a big hole in my pocket kind of thing. So there's, the financial aspect, but then there's also the logistics of it. So how is it actually going to come together? How do I get people to submit an article? It's a magazine, so I'm going to need pictures. So where do I get pictures from? And also like, how soon can they give feedback? What's the design going to be like? Because I was like, I don't want it to be another kind of dry, boring to look at magazine. I want it to be like really bold and fun and exciting. And I think the biggest challenge was definitely the front cover because I was like, I've never designed a front cover of anything. So apart from like a YouTube thumbnail, that doesn't really count because it's not a publication. It's not like, a thing that's going to get passed around for maybe years to come. So I was like, how can I make this, relevant? And then getting feedback from you and also my husband was like really helpful because I was like, okay, I think I did go a little bit too like extreme with the like fun part. Let's like, reel it back a little bit. So I approach things with enthusiasm. So
That's
that
good.
was that took way longer than I thought. But yeah, I think overall the layout was really happy with it, and yeah, really excited to see what other people think.
Good. And what do you envision for, what do you envision for this magazine? Is there some like ultimate goal that you hope to reach? Is there something specific that you hope that authors will experience when they contribute to this magazine?
Yeah, I think that when you get published, you are really proud of being in a publication. And I've not been published anywhere apart from like a blog or a website. And I think it really gives you a sense of authority in your topic, and also it brings attention to you. So it's really important for me to spotlight people from diverse backgrounds or who are doing something interesting in the space, and recognizing them for their experience, their work, their willingness to share their knowledge. And it's so important for me for the authors' names and faces to be remembered. And so that's why I gave like each of them a cover page rather than a little picture in the corner of their article, because I really want them to be recognized in the community, and I want to bring people to them as well. So I want to bring them opportunities, and I think it's just my way to give back to the community as well, to be like, if you write for me, I'm going to make it worth your while, because everybody volunteered their time to make this happen. So
Yeah.
I'm forever grateful. And in a similar way to, doing a podcast episode, which is like 10 or 15 minutes, but this is a bigger commitment, because you have to write something, your name and your face is going to be published. It's going to be like, immortalized. I mean, obviously the podcast is published as well, but like you're going to be amongst a collection of other authors as well. And I think it's so important for me to spotlight people in the community and bring you good fortune. So that's the idea. That's yeah. And if you've got something that you want to promote, like your book, your course, your mentorship services, that kind of thing, then I want to match make people to the authors as well. So if you're really interested in like learning about SEO, then Val has been doing that for ages. If you really want to learn about writing for different audiences, and Ariana is great for that. And so I think it's really hard to find people in the space at the moment. And if people want to learn about what it's like to work as a medical writer in the UK or work internationally, then that's something I'd hope they'd come to Write Clinic for. But there are other people doing different types of medical writing. So, in the biomed space, you've got Vicky, and yeah, there's just so many people and so many options in medical writing. So for the reader, it's giving them options to go and find those different people. And for the authors, it's to bring those people to them.
That sounds good. So then let's talk a little bit about the readers, so the audience. Is it more aimed at people trying to get into medical writing who are just starting out in medical writing? Or is it also for people that have been working in the industry for, 10, 20, 30 years?
Yeah, so I would say it's mostly aimed at people who have been thinking about getting into medical writing or deciding if this is the right career for them. And I do talk about alternative careers as well, because some people use medical writing as a jump off point to get into something else. So, for example, we've got Hannah and Matthew, who are both previously going to be doctors, and they've both gone into medical writing and then something else. So as either an entrepreneur or going into marketing. And I think it's important for people to see medical writing as a foundation. And if you want to do it forever, then you can. But you'll probably find that the way your medical writing is applied will be different as you progress in your career. And if you like variety, then it's a great career to get into. So for me, it's gone into evidence checking for the NHS.uk information pages. And then it's also gone into making videos for the NHS and the World Health Organization, which are things that I never thought would happen. And, I've really wanted to work on the NHS information pages because I would notice things. And as a healthcare professional, I'm like, millions of people are reading these pages, and it would be so cool to work on them. And now I do, and it just sounds like a dream. And then, the video with the WHO was another dream come true this year. Like, it's been amazing. And so I think I want readers who are thinking about medical writing and its different applications. And if there are more advanced readers, it's probably honestly not for them. But if they want to read it to see, kind of what the landscape of medical writing is like, maybe they are educators and they want to see the kind of things that we publish, and maybe they want to contribute, universities or organizations and that kind of thing, then I would love to collaborate with them. So it's more of a beginner-friendly careers and skills magazine for people who are maybe in their first 1 or 2 years of medical writing.
Mm-hmm. Is there any favorite article of yours in this issue, or any section or feature that you find particularly fun and interesting?
I really like the Ask the Editors pages, because I think we got some good questions, and then also sometimes I just don't know the answer, so I just leave it to Nicole. And then sometimes Nicole is not sure, and then I'll answer it. And I think that's really fun. And then there's also Brian, the brain. So if you click on Brian, then you get brain food. So it'll take you to a page where you can learn something new, but it's not directly linked to the author. So all of the articles have, the author's links. So maybe their LinkedIn or their website or their course or their ebook. But Brian the Brain will send you to other places so that you can learn different things. And I think that's fun because, it's a little bit of a treasure hunt to find Brian. So
I also really like that you can watch videos within the flipbook. That's so cool that you don't have to go to the different platform and to take into a different site to watch something. And I agree with you with the co-editors section. That was an interesting thing to do, especially also because I consider myself to be fairly new in the field as well. So I feel like I'm on this journey with our readers, and we're not positioning ourselves as experts in the field. And I think that makes the magazine a little bit more approachable and relatable.
Yeah.
Right. If you could describe the magazine in 3 words, what would they be?
Well, the first one has to be educational because it's to give you information to help you. And fun would be the second word. And I'm going to say radical for the third word because it's just different.
Yeah, very unique. Definitely makes a statement.
Yeah. So it's there to be loud and proud and challenge the status quo, if you like. So why did you choose to get involved with Medical Writer Magazine?
Was it a choice? And no, the short answer is that I want to make a difference. And the long answer is that I think I can do it through platforms like this magazine. A magazine that really champions diversity and, promotes inclusivity. And I think that it can make people feel like, they're heard and that they belong and that there's a place where they can find support. And also, of course, where they can find information and where they can become better in their craft in medical writing. And I definitely remember, it's fresh in my memory, the challenge that it was for me to get into medical writing and then to find my footing in the industry. And it wasn't really that there wasn't any information out there or any resources that was available. I just didn't find them that accessible, right? So initially, to me, the community felt a lot more exclusive than inclusive. And it took me a long time to find the right people to speak to and to figure out what I want to do. And so I just want to help people sort of along that journey and find their way within medical writing. And I think this magazine is the perfect place to help them, find that community and figure out the career squiggly that is a lot about paths. There's no perfect recipe. There's no like perfect roadmap. We all have our own way. And I just want this transition to feel a lot less terrifying and frustrating.
Yeah, I love that. I can also totally relate to that feeling of feeling terrified and frustrated and not really knowing what to do and I think community is just one of the best ways to learn, and sharing your experiences helps you feel like it's normal what you're going through.
Yeah, you're not alone in this experience. And it's not abnormal the way that you're feeling, right?
Yeah, so important. All right, so next question. How did you find working with me as co-editor? Be honest.
No, honestly, it's been a pleasure. I mean, I don't think that we agree on everything, but I feel like the way that we have been able to interact with each other has been really, really positive. I've never felt kind of judged or that my input wasn't valued. So I really, really appreciate that. I have a lot of respect for, everything you've done and what you are doing. And you're a powerhouse. Why wouldn't I grab this opportunity to work with you with both hands and feet? I knew I was going to learn so much along this way, which I did. And I think that, in general, we work pretty well together. We're very similar in a lot of ways, but we also, have our own individual identities and spice that we bring to the project. And I liked a lot that you brought that your commitment to the project was so strong. You really guided me along like your decision making. You didn't just like say, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to do, and you just do it the way that I want it. It was a collaborative process, and I really enjoyed that, and I appreciate that a lot.
Oh, thank you so much. Sounds a lot better than I think also because it's new and it's like the first time we've like properly worked together, that it like we both didn't know what to expect, and I think ultimately like it's so good when we challenge each other to think differently as well. And I think it's okay to go back and forth a few times and then make a decision, and decisions have to be made within the time frame that we have, and then the second one will be a lot easier than the first one, because the first one's always the hardest, and I think you've got way more decisions to make in the first one than you do in the second issue and so on. So
just the fact also that you had we approach everything with respect and sensitivity. And I've had some bad experiences as an editor, and so I can only commend this kind of work ethic and this kind of approach to working with people.
Yeah, I love that. Awesome. So I guess that goes in nicely to the next question. So how did you find Medical Writer magazine different to other journals or magazines that you have worked on?
Oh, a lot of things, actually. The first thing is, of course, I've never been this involved in creating a magazine. So that's been very different. And I think that the level of autonomy that we've been able to approach this project with has been great. And I think it's going to be one of the main drivers of its success. There's no big organization telling us how to do things. And that really, represents, I think, the authentic and the relatable voice of the magazine. And makes it not only informative, but also very engaging. It was also a lot more fun because I got to be involved in all these different little things. Not only is the magazine pretty fun with all the little interactive features and things, but the colors are bold, and I got to be a little bit part of the design and things like that. So it was I really liked the creative part of it as well. And I've already spoken a little bit about the collaborative process and how nice I found that. But that's been very different too, because, we all have our different roles, very specific tasks in the other magazines or journals that I've been involved with. And here it was more back and forth. We had a lot of dialogue. We were making decisions together, it felt like, as opposed to you just telling me, again, what to do and me doing it. And at first, I was a little bit taken aback by the fact that we don't really have any sort of writing style that we conform to. For example, we don't use like US or UK English. We don't like always use the serial comma. I love a serial comma. So I thought, oh gosh, this is going to make it so much more challenging to edit between, the different articles and to do the different editorial checks. But then, after some thought, it's actually a major advantage, and it's very appropriate because it makes the magazine a lot more accessible. It kind of breaks down any potential barriers there are, because, not everybody will find one particular style enjoyable. Some might find, it difficult to understand or relate to. And I think in this way, the author can write in whatever style they feel most comfortable, and the readers can appreciate different styles, and everyone's welcome.
So when I approached you to say that, I don't want to change the voice of the authors, I want them to sound like them, then I think that was really different as well, because I've definitely contributed to magazines and things, and my voice has been changed, and I'm like, it doesn't even sound like me anymore. This is not my writing. This has been edited so much that I can't see myself in it, and then the reader is just going to see the editor. So
this isn't like a scientific publication, right? So you want to hear from people, and this makes it a lot more authentic.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you have the art show at school, or you have a talent show, and you're like, okay, here's the stage, do what you do. So it's a little bit of a talent show magazine, I guess. So how did you find the time to fit this in amongst everything else?
Very good question. Very good question. No, it's been, it's always a challenge, but I really wanted to be part of this project, and because I believe in what we're doing here, or the vision that you have for the magazine. But a lot of, I guess, not late nights, but early mornings. I've had to, in the past, learn the hard way that I need to prioritize and organize myself properly so that I don't burn out. And so, that's been a learning experience for me too, to really learn to say no. But I couldn't say no to this. I really wanted to make it work. So it's been, this last month has been very jam-packed. But it's happy, and it's good, and I'm really happy with what we've produced. And like I said, I've learned a lot along the way about this editorial process of making a magazine, but also about myself as an editor, and in the way that I work together with other people.
Yeah, so I love that.
I found the time, but it was challenging.
I love that. I love that you also know your boundaries as well, and you're able to prioritize your time. I think it's so important that, if I ever felt that you were burnt out, I'll just be like, don't do it. Just I think you can overthink things, and I think I just, don't want that to happen, especially a first edition. I think the pressure is on to, make it everything you want it to be. But I'm a 75% go kind of person. So I'm not gonna work extra with that extra 25% because I've got the majority sorted. So I think we did really well, and yeah. I guess
you had a lot more on your plate than what I did. So let's be clear about that. So I should really be asking you this question: how did you find time to do it?
I think that I intentionally cleared my diary to have the time to do it, because I've got other things I'm doing at the same time, like working on the courses to get them translated into Spanish, and then having a magazine on top of that, and then having having another potential course that I'm working on for health information videos. And it's like you said, I have to really prioritize what's going to be the most impactful work that I could do. So what would you do to streamline Medical Writer Magazine for the next edition?
So I just said that you had a lot more on your plate, right, than what I did. I think the biggest thing I want to improve is the division of labor. I think that for the next round, both of us, we can divide the work so that both of us are sort of in charge or responsible for certain parts from beginning to end, of course, consulting each other along the way. But I think, I can definitely be a little bit more involved as an editor in the next one. That should streamline things a little bit. And also it'll give me a chance to build some kind of relationship with the authors more, which I really enjoy doing. But this was the first time that, we've done this. And I think now we have a much better idea of what to expect, and we can plan a little bit better.
Yeah, I love that. And I think also we'll be able to start a lot earlier. So having things way more in advance than, coming down to the very close to publication date. And yeah, I think there's so much potential for the next edition to go, feel a little bit lighter. And then, yeah, it's so awesome to have more divided between us. And then obviously I definitely want both of us to have like a proper break after this one. So don't just jump into the next one straight away. So yeah, we need some calm as well.
So when is the next issue coming out, actually?
So the next issue is coming out probably end of June / early July, because I might be taking some time off in May / June. So I haven't got exact dates yet. So we'll probably want to be wrapping up the next issue around April, May-ish, and then just doing finishing touches at the end of June / July, which is when the next one will come out. So it should hopefully come out regularly every 6 months, so twice a year. So the winter edition and the summer edition.
Great. And then before we create the next one, we really want to hear from the readers, right? So we have this built-in form. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that real quick.
Yeah, so we have a form on the back page, the very last page of Medical Writer Magazine, where you can give us your ratings out of 5 to say how much you enjoyed it, and then also have any suggestions for future issues as well. We'd love to hear what would be helpful for you, maybe any authors that you'd love to see an article from, or maybe any features that you'd like, maybe like video topics and things like that. So it's really, really cool if you'd be able to fill that out. And we take all of your suggestions like really seriously. Just like with the Ask the Editors, we answered all of the questions. Yeah. So that would be awesome if you could do that as a reader.
So one thing before we continue to the rapid fire that I forgot to ask you was, how does the International Medical Writers Association factor into your vision or your goal for the future with this magazine or within the community in general?
Yeah, so the International Medical Writers Association is going to be a new community, because some people felt from the feedback responses that I've had on the application so far, one of the questions is, why do you want to join the International Medical Writers Association? Because I have to justify why I'm going to be creating another association, because there are some existing ones already. And a lot of people said that they just didn't feel like they belong anywhere, or they weren't represented. Mm-hmm. And I think that's true for what I'm trying to do with this magazine, is ask for people, authors from all over the world, the same way that I did for the podcast, to contribute. And so building an international community off of LinkedIn, so that it's somewhere people feel like their data is not being used to drive AI. And then also, like, it's a private space where everyone is there for the same reasons. So they want to connect with you. They want to, seriously get into medical writing, improve their skills, and also interact with people from different parts of the world that they might be in, or maybe parts of the world that they're interested in moving to. So, for example, some of the podcasts guests that I've had. There have been people who've moved from India to America, for example, or even to Dubai. And, what was the process of learning a new language, of getting a job as a medical writer, that kind of thing. These are all amazing questions and experiences that I would love to have authors write about. And so a lot of the podcast guests are people that I would definitely be approaching to write future articles. And so the International Medical Writing Association will be a forum where people can talk to each other in their own languages and connect with people from all over the world and feel like they're in a space that is safe to do that. So one of the changes to the group on LinkedIn that I made was that I made the group public. So whatever you post in there, the whole world can see. And so in the International Medical Writing Association, it'll be a private space. So you don't need to feel like your boss is watching you post on LinkedIn in the medical writing group. And then also it's difficult to message people on LinkedIn if you're not connected to them. So it's about having access to people that you really want to connect with as well. So doing that off the platform of LinkedIn and in a new space would mean that hopefully you find it easier to connect with people.
I was going to ask if it's going to be a paid membership or free.
Yeah, so there will be a payment to join the membership, and that's because it will take time and organization to run it. And obviously we will start with volunteers, but ultimately I do want to compensate people for their time because I do want all of the discussion areas to be moderated. And, if someone starts to act in a way that goes against the rules, then you will be removed, no refunds. So it will be an affordable membership. And so, keeping in mind that people in different parts of the world, there are different, economic spaces and challenges. And I want it to be as inclusive as possible. And I think existing associations may not cater to that. So people feel like they miss out. And also there'll be, discounts and things for people who are students, who might just want to have a free trial just to see what it's like and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's going to be an affordable membership and also no commitment. So if you just want to pay monthly, then that's totally fine. You can stay for a month or two and then, that's it. It's not like a subscription where like Adobe, I pay for Adobe Premiere Pro and you have to pay a year in advance. And I was like, okay, I really want this program, but I don't know how to use it, but I have to pay for a year of it. So I thought it was a little bit unfair.
Yeah, it's a big long-term financial commitment. Yeah, a lot of people can't afford that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, you don't need a whole year to connect with people. Sometimes you just want to dip in for a month and dip out, and then you can dip back in whenever you want. So, so that's the plan, and it's to fund the space as well. So when you have a platform which has got lots of members and it's private, it means that you've got all these kind of controls, and again the moderators and things like that.
Sounds great. Can't wait to join.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we've got some rapid fire questions to keep things fun now.
Yeah, and keeping in theme with the magazine, we'll do a round of rapid fire questions. Virginia will have 10 seconds. I will go right after her, so the 10 seconds applies to me as well. To answer some questions about medical writing and about her. So let's go. First question, coffee or tea while writing or editing?
I don't drink coffee or tea because it gives me migraines. So I have water, or I have like very, very low calorie juice, or I have, it's normally like an iced tea, like very low calorie, and then, or milk, normally like hot chocolate.
Okay. What do you prefer, writing, editing, or design?
I prefer probably writing because I can do it faster. And then I think editing takes too long and design takes way longer than you think. So time efficiency, writing.
One word to describe the medical writing community.
Probably probably wholesome because everyone is there to like help each other and have a good time.
What is your favorite piece of advice to give to new medical writers?
Probably to start connecting and having conversations with people like as soon as possible so that you feel like you're not alone in your journey.
What's your favorite piece of advice to give to aspiring medical writers?
Make a list of people that you want to work with and reach out to all of them. And even if they say no in 6 months, reach out to them again. Because I really wanted to get published in Pharmacy Magazine, and then I finally did. And it took 6 months to get to the editor and convince him to write an article.
Favorite place to find writing inspiration?
Probably books on Amazon. I spend a lot of money on books.
What's your dream topic to feature in the magazine?
Content design, I think, is really important, and not a lot of people know about it, and it can be really helpful for the reader. And I think it would be great to have something about that.
Pen and paper or digital notes?
Pen and paper. I can't live without my
I wonder
notebook.
if you're in the
I've got,
minority there. Early bird or night owl when it comes to deadlines?
I prefer to be an early bird, but I have been a night owl in the past. I prefer to be early bird. So I would rather wake up at 6 a.m. and work on something for 3 hours than it's 9 o'clock and then I go to bed at midnight.
What is the first word that comes to mind when you think of medical writing?
Probably authority, because you really have to know what you're writing about if you're going to be talking about medical or health information.
Great. Thanks, Virginia.
Yay! Thank you. Okay, now it's my turn. Okay, so coffee or tea while writing or editing?
Coffee always. I don't have anything against tea. I very rarely drink it, but I guzzle coffee by the liter every day. I love the tea.
What time do you sleep? Sorry?
It doesn't really affect my sleep.
Wow.
I'm the kind of person who can drink a cup of coffee right before bed and still sleep through the night. So I guess I'm lucky in that way.
That's amazing. Okay, so what do you prefer, writing, editing, or design?
Editing, hands down. So it goes editing, writing, design.
I like that. At least we relate on the design part. So what's one word you would use to describe the medical writing community?
I said I really like your answer, the wholesome, to describe the medical writing. I completely agree with that, but I would say diverse. I think we all have very diverse backgrounds, diverse journeys, situated all around the world. It's always really interesting mix of people when we come together.
Yeah, I love it. I love learning from different parts of the world as well. It's so interesting. Okay, what's your favorite piece of advice to give to new medical writers?
Ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask if you don't know something. Everyone who starts out in a new position, feels a bit lost. You're not alone in that. Don't be scared to ask questions. You have many people that you can learn from in this community, and probably it's your place of work too.
Yeah, we've got an Ask the Editors form in the magazine, so you can ask us anything as well. So what's your favorite piece of advice to give to aspiring medical writers?
You are qualified. You're capable. Don't doubt yourself so much. I know what that's like, especially when you're transitioning from, which most of us do, right? If all of us, there's no clear medical writing career path. Don't spend too much money on doing a lot of workshops or courses or trainings and things like that. You are already very capable. Talk to the right people to find out exactly what you need to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, love that. Cool. So what's your favorite place to find writing inspiration?
From reading other people's writing. Sometimes it's really bad, sometimes it's really good, and I feel inspired.
I love that. You can still be inspired by a piece of different writing. So, What's your dream topic to feature in the magazine?
I'm inclined to say something to do with sustainability, because sustainability is the topic of my life right now. So something that focuses on diversity, equity, inclusion within the medical writing field or within life sciences in general.
Yeah, I love that. That would fit in really well. Okay. Pen and paper or digital notes?
Digital notes. For note taking, absolutely digital. If you give me a pen and paper, I'm going to be doodling all day long and taking very, very few notes.
I just love being able to like physically cross things out.
A to-do list is different though, or a shopping list. Like I like to go to the shops with an actual list that I can also like scratch things out. Both where I have to have my phone out. But for note taking, digital for sure. I don't have to worry about losing the piece of paper later on either.
Yeah, true. Okay, early bird or night owl when it comes to deadlines?
Early bird. I love getting up early. I can stay up late as well. I'm not that affected by like, not sleeping. But I like to get things done in the morning for sure.
Same. Okay, what is the first word that comes to mind when you think of medical writing?
I want to say nerdy. Maybe this is more about the writers than it actually is about medical writing. Obviously, I love what we do in medical writing, the purpose that we serve within the industry. But I say nerdy because I feel like a lot of us become medical writers because we can kind of geek out over the science and the medicine. And that we're not really that concerned with the writing. We just want to be at the forefront and geek out over stuff.
I love that. I've learned so much as a medical writer. It's felt like a continuation of my degree.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been really cool to chat.
Yeah, thanks. It was great hearing from you for a change. I would say everyone's going to appreciate that a lot. And I really hope that everyone enjoys the magazine. And we really want to hear from everybody what they think.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for watching or listening. If you want to check out the magazine, I'll leave the link in the description box below. You'll find that link on all of the video descriptions now. And I hope you really enjoy it. And we can't wait to hear from you. And we look forward to publishing the second issue in 6 months' time. So please share the magazine link with everyone, your friend, your neighbor, your dog, your mom, dad, anyone interested in medical writing. Thank you so much.